Welcome back to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 59. I'm Ian Scott.
And I'm having a better week than Francis Ford Coppola at Cannes.
Yeah, you sure are. I don't doubt that. But he did get a 7-minute ovation. But don't they always give
I feel like
ovations?
I feel like I hear Batman v Superman got a standing ovation. I'm like,
right.
Okay, well,
okay.
Let's see who was in that crowd.
Right. But yeah, we like always have a bunch of interesting film and TV topics to go over with you this week. You want to run us through them?
Yeah, so we are going to talk about the Wicked trailer that just came out, a kind of indie, I don't want to say low budget, but a Ewan McGregor movie with some other pretty high names from actors in Mother Couch, which Ian let me put to my attention. Yeah. We have Nicolas Cage, who's going to star as Spider-Man Noir in a live action Amazon series. On the flip side of that, we're also going to see that the Silk series that was in development with Amazon and Sony is not happening anymore, and it's getting shopped to other people. We're going to talk about Francis Ford Coppola and his movie Megalopolis, which has been getting quite a lot of controversy at the Cannes Film Festival. John Wick is having a spinoff with the Donnie Yen character Kane, and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow gets a release date, which might shed some light on how the DCU is going to be shaping up. But the first thing that we're going to talk about today is the Dune Prophecy trailer that came out earlier this week. So just to preface, this is a show coming to HBO, which is about 10,000 years before the events of the Dune books, movies that we've seen recently.
Specifically 10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides.
Right. And maybe some people have read some of the other Dune books, or even like Brian Herbert, which is Frank Herbert's son's books. Maybe this is drawing on some characters from those books. I don't know.
So I guess, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I thought this was the Dune Sisterhood show that was kind of redeveloped. Yes. Right. Okay. Yes. So I still think it's pulling off of that, like those stories from, isn't it Brian Herbert who wrote Dune Sisterhood?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So I still think it's probably going to pull off of that story. But I think they wanted a more like purposeful direction for this spinoff, and I think we're like giving it and I don't know anything about Dune Sisterhood, the book, so forgive me
either. That's why I'm saying I don't know anything.
Right. So and maybe it does focus on this, but I think it is smart that they are focusing on the origins of the Bene Gesserit and really tying it to like the overall universe, but keeping it in line with the two movies that just came out,
right? Because
they were very Bene Gesserit focused, those movies, in a sense.
Well, I mean, at least like they're a big part of that world, right?
For sure.
Like they weren't something that we stayed with them for a majority of the movie, but they played
their actions, right? Like, had impact on everything,
right? And so, the idea of this show is I like it. I obviously, I don't even know many of these cast members, to be honest. Like, the name Travis Fimmel sounds familiar. The lady Emily Watson who plays Valia Harkonnen, she looks familiar. The only person I really know is Mark Strong, who seems to be playing the Emperor of this time. Yeah,
so he's playing Emperor Javico Corino.
Yes.
And the Bene Gesserit that is the Harkonnen is played by it's played by Emily Watson, who's the founder of the Bene Gesserit. And we also focus on her sister as well, which I guess she's a pretty prominent character in this. So yeah, it's I'm excited that we get to see an Emperor. I think it's cool that it's Mark Strong. I like that.
Yeah, I love Mark Strong.
But I'm a little confused about like the Bene Gesserit Harkonnen. You know, like she doesn't seem to be at all like the other Harkonnens we've seen. You know,
Right. I mean,
right?
I think that there's the potentiality that like the Harkonnens look different 10,000 years ago.
And they've like just been like evolving on Dune. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Well, and Gaiety Prime, like
Right.
I think if I had to guess,
Hmm.
the reason that the reason that the Harkonnens look the way that they do in Dune, is because the the vileness of them internally just has started to like become an outward expression.
Interesting.
Like I feel like they might just be normal ass people 10,000
Right.
years
Right.
ago, but like through all of like the spice and
Right.
evolution, like they just started to.
That makes sense. Like logically, that was my only thought too. Was like, well, then that's what they looked like 10,000 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Or she was born into the Harkonnens, and she's like Harkonnen by name,
Right. Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I was watching this trailer, and I think, I love the idea of getting like a Dune show. I think it's probably only like 6 episodes.
Probably these days, that's what most are.
I mean, like I'm looking at like the people in the show, and like the cast member that has the longest amount of episodes says like 6 episodes. So I don't know.
That's gotta be, yeah.
It is a TV show. It did like have a whole like showrunner redo. Like they completely had new showrunners. It's going to be called Dune Sisterhood. But like I'm watching it, and maybe it's just because like we've seen the Dune movies. Like this is a Dune TV show. I shouldn't expect as much with the cinematography and stuff. But
Sure.
I'm not gonna lie. Like the way everything looks does feel lower budget, and
Sure.
and that, I guess that's to be expected to some degree,
Right.
But and this is just like a teaser, so like I want to wait for like the first trailer to get an idea of like what's actually going on. But like first look at it, I don't feel as excited as I would like, because things feel a little less, like you can see the production's a little less. You can see that, like part of what was interesting about Dune is like kind of gone, because like Dune's not even.
That's what I was going to say too. I was like, I understand that they have to say like it's Dune something, because like what else would you call it and still be able to identify it as a part of that universe,
right?
But it doesn't seem like Dune is that much of an impactful plot point in this story at all. I don't know. Like, I mean, yes, it's only a 1-minute teaser, and maybe they just didn't show enough, but
right. Like, and I did like, they started to spell out like Dune, and like each one was like, earth and fire, like, and we it's like, okay, we're gonna see a bunch of different planets or places, which is cool. But my thing is, I'm a little nervous about this show, that like I want to know what I'm supposed to get out of it, because Dune, that is a singular story,
right,
that is trying to tell a specific thing, and it did it well. And I don't necessarily like need more than that.
Right.
Like it was trying to tell the story of like, it was a very political, but also like coming of age story. And like, there's lots of things going on, which like this show could be as well. But it feels like to me, like as much as we said Dune is Game of Thrones in space, this is like literally trying to do a Game of Thrones, like we want somebody on the seat in power. And I'm like, it could be good.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to lie, like it could be good, but I don't know if it has the same appeal that like the Dune movies that we've seen.
I think you took the words right out of my mouth, like literally. And like, I think it's going to lean incredibly hard into the politics of the throne and the Bene Gesserit, like getting into certain places of like not power per se, but like key positions to like inspire influence. Right.
Yeah.
And so but I think the problem is that this is a like we've seen in the movies that this is a plan like 10,000 years running, right? And unless you're gonna do major time skips, like they don't. I mean, by the time the movies happen, they still haven't fully finished their plan. So like I don't know. I think there has to be either like a milestone they're working to, for this like time period to work, or there has to be like a ton of time skips to catch us up to the movies.
I don't think there's gonna be time skips.
I don't either. But,
I think what if I had to guess, the thing that this show is building towards, and I think and I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's already implied because of the way that we see like the Reverend Mother in Dune the movies is with House Carino, the Emperor. Like we know that a Bene Gesserit's been influencing the Emperor's like family lineage. I feel like if I had to guess, the Bene Gesserit like Harkonnen is trying to have some sort of influence on this emperor, Mark Strong's emperor, which will like their main thing is to be there to influence things down the line. And I could be wrong. Maybe it's not just that, or maybe it's something else. But like to me, if that's what it feels like, they just want to have like an ear or have their like be able to say things and influence, and like it's like, well, I feel like I know that's how they get like we get to that point already. Maybe it'll be interesting to see how it comes along, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous about this show. Like I want
there has to be a really good purpose and story, and like if they're already at the Emperor's ear 10,000 years ago, like why is it taking so long?
Well, because they were like doing bloodlines and
sure,
and like
but
they have plans within plans. Like maybe we'll be able to see like we had plans on this ice planet that we saw. We have plans for this like this planet that has this tribe and they're doing fire ritual. Like I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, I want to be excited. I'm just I'm a little nervous.
I feel you, especially since it's not Denis,
Yeah, and they had the showrunners, like
right. This is we haven't even mentioned. This is like gone through a huge creative overhaul.
Right.
And we had the showrunner step out and an actor step out, and so who knows what this would have looked like at one point, but we're here now with the finished product, and it's coming out this fall. So, I mean, good timing, I'd say, since Dune 2 just came out. So,
right.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, our next trailer is definitely a hefty one. We got the new Wicked trailer, Wicked Part 1, technically.
Is it Part 1?
It is so they haven't been saying it in any of the recent marketing, but it is a Wicked Part 1. Yes.
Where did we get confirmation that? Because I haven't seen anything about that.
It was announced like I think it was when the Super Bowl trailer dropped. We got a confirmation that it was going to be a Part 1 and Part 2. With Part 2 coming out November of next year.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. But they've been hiding that from people like you. So
that's a little frustrating.
Yeah, a little frustrating. I mean, maybe they've really gone back to the drawing board and like, okay, let's just combine them and not tell anybody we combined them, and it's just going to be a full movie. I don't know. But this trailer was basically the full movie, to be honest. They gave us so many plot points and just ran us through chronologically what was going on. And it's like a 3.5-minute trailer. So
it's a long trailer.
I'm disappointed, to be honest. Not with how it looks or the story, but just with how much information they gave us.
Okay, so here's the thing. Normally, I would be upset at how much was shown.
Right.
But this is a very popular play and book. And yes, there's people out there that have not seen the play and not read the books. But if it was anything else, I would be upset.
Right.
And like there still is a bit of me that's like, did we need to show all of like, because if I was somebody like you who has not seen it, I'd be like, well, why did we even show the contention between Galinda and Elphaba when later on in the trailer you can
they're
clearly see that they're friends.
Yep.
And anyways, there's things that I feel like but because it's so popular, because a lot of people know it, it doesn't bother me as much, because I think people want to see what that would look like. And anyways, that aside, I think this trailer looks amazing. Like, I'm so excited to see it. I think Cynthia, who plays Elphaba, and especially Ariana Grande, who plays Galinda, are like such good casting, and they have such a great chemistry. And I totally believe like Ariana definitely is doing like a great Galinda. I think the sets look amazing.
So you've seen the actual musical? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I think the CGI was great, and I thought it was like pretty top tier CGI for the most part. Michelle Yeoh looks great. I truly think that it looked amazing. I think the singing sounds amazing. The little teases of like Galinda's popular and
which is so funny that's like an actual Ariana Grande song. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know. No, I didn't know. Maybe she kind of like did a what is it called? An interpolation of it for one of her songs. But that is a Wicked song.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
that's funny. Maybe that was their first like, oh, she's done a Wicked song before. Maybe we should hit her up.
But yeah, I think it looks. I really think. Oh, and Jeff Goldblum as the wizard. Yeah, but I think it looks great. And I was getting a little like emotional watching it. Not gonna lie. Like I think it really. But yeah, what do you think? Because I don't think you feel the same.
I think visually it looks really good. I think like, the sets and the costumes like all look, production wise really, really good. I just think the story that was laid out, I'm just not in love with. I think them starting off as basically Harry Potter students, and being at this like school for witches, and you have Michelle Yeoh, and she's the dean of Shiz University. Just I don't know. It just all seems so cheesy to me.
It's not.
And I don't know. I think the plot of needing to make like a villain a likable character in properties that are like, I don't know. It just seems so like prevalent where we're like, oh, let's focus on the villain and make them a likable character, and like in another movie that's not the original. It just seems like we see it all the time in so many properties, and I don't necessarily need it again in this, where she seems like way more likable than Galinda. I don't know. And then yeah, I mean like I Jeff Goldblum as Wizard of Oz, that's cool. Like I think like he works. He's not even like as goofy as he usually is. I don't know. I'm not loving it, to be honest.
So we're gonna watch this together. I'm gonna take you to see it, and you will like it. I guarantee you'll like it, because I had the same thoughts. I was like, really? Do we have to we're trying to make us like the Wicked Witch of the West? I was completely sold on like that. It is a great story, Ian. And you will like it. I know you'll like it.
Well, that's it's
a
huge vote of confidence.
I think that this has the possibility of making at minimum, well, not minimum, at minimum over 600,000.
You mean
Million.
No, it's
No,
like 600,000
sorry,
isn't
600,000 million. 600,000 million. I think this has the potential, the low ball, 600,000 million.
Wait,
I could be wrong.
What are you 600,000 million? What are you saying?
I'm at the box office. I'm saying,
Yeah, that's
like,
not a number, Zach.
600. I don't know what I'm saying.
600 million.
600
is what
million.
you're saying.
Yeah, 600 million.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
You're
600
fine.
million. I actually don't know how well musicals have been doing. I don't feel like they traditionally don't do great, but I have a feeling like low ball 600 million.
I don't know.
Could it,
man.
and I would be like, and then highest, I would love for it to make a billion, but I don't think it will. But
I don't think it will.
Probably
no.
like 800 million. I'm gonna say, if it's as good as what I'm seeing right here, and if it catches on.
My prediction is that low ball 300 million, and at the most it would pull in 650 million.
You might be right.
I just
you might
don't
be right.
yeah, I don't see a musical doing incredibly well, and I think like yes, they are showing, maybe not showing, but you hear them singing in the background of this trailer, but it's still to me not obvious that this is supposed to be like a musical movie, and
not even with the singing at the end.
I just there's so much of this trailer that is showing non-singing moments and plot points, and it's just like you don't get that. Sure, in like I don't remember the exact ending of this trailer, but like yes, I understand like with the singing like through the background of the trailer, and I already know that this is a musical, but like I think for most people, you know, it's not going to be that obvious, and maybe I'm counting people like. Maybe that's not the right term, but maybe I'm implying that people are like not as bright as they should be. But I don't know. I'm worried that they're gonna have the same problems that like Mean Girls the musical did, you know, and people are gonna come into the theater and not realize what they signed up for.
I feel like, did you know that Wicked was a musical, like a Broadway musical play?
Not like I knew about it, but it was like after I'd seen the trailer.
So you'd never heard about it before?
No, I mean, and if I had, it just went one in ear and went out the other. You know, like it never stayed in my thoughts.
I guess like the difference between this and Mean Girls is like,
Mean Girls was a movie and Wicked's a musical originally, right?
And also like I can't remember if I saw any Mean Girls trailers, but I've heard that there was just no singing in general in those trailers. Sure. So people were like, "Oh, it's a musical." I had no idea. Whereas this one, I literally hear singing from the characters.
Right. Sure.
You know?
Yeah. No, I get it. I just think not the like the below, or not what I'm trying to say, like the less than average intelligent person, I think
will
not like know is I mean, I'm not trying to say that. It's just like people who aren't super like film literate, you know, who don't go to the movies a ton, who don't know anything about Broadway musicals, who are just like, oh, yeah, I'll just go to the movies for this one because it looks fun and has Ariana Grande, and you know, I don't know. I think there are those people out there. Yeah.
There's definitely those people out there. Right. Anyways, I think it looks great. You don't think it looks as good.
I think
I think this will be the first musical that you'll like be like, wow. There
are a couple of musicals that I like. But it has to be done. Like I don't know. I don't know what like specifically. I love Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? And like the original, and that is a full blown musical. Maybe it was because I saw it as a kid, and that's why like I'm able to like watch it. But there are most musicals I'm not into like the big, like every cast member like in a synchronized dance and singing and like I'm just not into that kind of stuff. And maybe it'll be different with this. I don't know. And maybe they're not even showing any of that in the trailer, so maybe it's not that kind of a musical. But who knows? Who knows?
There'll be moments, but for the majority of it, like something like Popular is going to be just Ariana Grande and Cynthia in their dorm room. And then when like the big song, I forget what the big song is that Cynthia is gonna sing. Like that might be a set piece. It'll definitely be a set piece. It might have might have some other cast members, but it's like really like a solo kind of thing. So maybe it'll not be what like I have a feeling like if you saw West Side Story, you'd probably be like,
right. I know exactly what you're talking about, right? No, yeah. So yeah,
well, do you like Grease?
I've never seen Grease.
You've never seen Grease?
I don't think so.
All right.
No.
Well, we do need to move on, but
yes. But I will watch it with you, and I will see if you prove me wrong, and if you prove yourself right.
I have high hopes, and I do think if you can, and I think honestly, I think the only reason that you might not like it now that I know that there's a part 1 and a part 2 is like.
Right, if it like has some really bad cliffhanger or something, or right.
It is it is a big story, so I guess I kind of understand it. I just thought that they were gonna kind of try to be able to fit that in within like a 2.5 hour movie, but
right. Well,
we'll see.
Right, exactly. And so that comes out November 27th this year, and part 2 November of 2025.
Thanksgiving.
Is that? Yeah, you're right. That is Thanksgiving weekend, probably.
Yeah.
So, I will be seeing it with you in Richmond, or you'll be seeing it here with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. Well, our last trailer we wanted to talk about today was a trailer called trailer for a film called Mother Couch. This is written and directed by Nicholas Larson, who's a first-time director, and it stars Ewan McGregor and Riz Ifans, who's the lizard from Amazing Spider-Man, if you remember, and
Otto Hightower in House of the Dragon.
Yeah, that too. Even better role, I would say. Yeah. And
even better role by a mile,
for sure.
But I did like him in as the lizard.
He was good. He was good. So yeah, this is a so the trailer, I guess I will say, shows us a store owner calling this mother's son who explains that the mother won't get up off of this couch. And
it's a furniture store.
Right? And so, he goes up to his mom and is like, "Hey, is everything okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm not gonna leave." And that's basically like the whole concept of this movie. It starts off from that point, and the rest of the siblings are called in, and they're like, "Mom, you gotta get up, or we're gonna drag you off." And I mean, she has this amazing like dialogue where she's like, if you grab me, I'm gonna bite you and twist and turn, and if you get to the stairs, I'm gonna fall and burst my head open." And I'm like, okay, all right, so something's going on here. And there's a lot of mystery to this trailer, like a lot of things where you're like, maybe that could mean something, and that's the big twist of this movie. Like, like somebody asks Ewan McGregor's character if he's like a part of the family, and he's like, yeah, sure. Like he's kind of like giving an unsure answer about that, and you're like, why would he respond that way, right? Mm-hmm. Or she like the mother even says at one point like, "I saved you," and he's like, "From what?" And so like there's something that's underneath the surface of this movie for sure. But the synopsis that was given was, while attempting to leave a furniture store, an elderly matriarch suddenly decides to sit on one of the couches and stay there. Her 3 children come together, as well as the store owners, who all go through a mind-bending journey of self-discovery. So everyone seems like they go on this journey of realizing who they might be and who they really are. and I don't know. It looks really fun, honestly.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, I get it. Like it's kind of this little indie, we're gonna shoot it in a one location
Which I love.
kind of kind of movie
Yeah.
where it's about like this mom who's through doing this one kind of ridiculous action is now bringing her family together to like
Right.
go through their problems so I
Right.
thought it was that kind of movie. And then as soon as she had that for lack of a better word, speech of
monologue, right?
monologue that she's gonna like throw herself down the stairs, the trailer kind of does a shift, and we're like, what's going on at this furniture store? Like
Right.
are they like some sort of like cult? Because they like at the end there's like a toast like to good furniture, like
It was like to new furniture or
to
something,
new
right?
furniture, yeah.
Right,
And it's
right.
like it gave me the same sort, like it has this not quite horror, not quite just a thriller, but it's got this
But
similar,
it could like turn into that on like a switch,
right? Like it's got that same air about it that like The Menu had.
Mhm.
And even most recently that Channing Tatum movie, that the trailer that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, where he's like a billionaire.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Or even like this is an actual horror movie, but Ready or Not, where
Mhm.
like it's like funny. Like there's funniness and weirdness about it, where if there is dark things, it's still not like too dark. Like there's almost like a Get Outness to it all.
Right.
And yeah, I definitely think it's like an interesting, like I love the cast, by the way. Like the
Yeah.
cast is great. And even Conor McGregor's like British. I don't think Rhys Ifan is talking in an accent, and the mother
Oh, you
doesn't.
mean Ewan McGregor?
What did I say?
You said Conor McGregor. I was like, what movie are we talking about?
I think I saw Roadhouse on one of the websites earlier, and it just subconsciously went into my head. But I think Ewan McGregor has a different accent than even like the mom. So
I didn't notice that.
Maybe he's not related. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, but yeah, I think it's got a really interesting tone, because it did that thing like Dream Scenario did in the trailer, where I was like, oh, this kind of wacky, sort of like weird concept. Okay, that's fun. And then it was like
halfway through, you hit a certain point. You're like, this is a different movie than it was first advertised.
Which I like that there's like a growing trend of that. Like I mean, it's not new, but it's becoming more prevalent, because like there's a movie called like The One I Love, which was Elizabeth Moss from Mad Men, and and she and like her husband are going off to this Airbnb sort of like couples getaway sort of place, where like a psychiatrist or a therapist is like, if you go here, like you're almost guaranteed to fix your relationship. And
interesting.
And you're like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And then like this kind of like sci-fi twist happens, this psychological, not thriller, but like psychological fuckery starts happening, that you're like, oh, this is a much different movie than I originally thought. And I like that. Hopefully this one sticks the landing and is good, because like I've heard people don't like Dream Scenario. And
that's too bad.
And I have not seen it yet, but like I think we saw The Outfit, and I hated how that how that went.
Yeah, you did.
I hated,
but it's another one location, set. And
I think when I think of a one location, and then like it's not what it's not what it actually is, I think of The Outfit, and I'm like, please don't be The Outfit.
The ending of The Outfit did piss me off. I will give you that. I think it was going well for me for a while, but then when he like, spoilers for people who haven't seen The Outfit, but he like turns into this, or he reveals that he's like always been this mobster. And
we should preface the outfit is where Ray Fiennes is like a cobbler.
No, he's a tailor.
He's a tailor. Yes, he's a tailor. Yeah. He's this old tailor, and there's this mob outfit that he's like caught up in, and then he turns out to be this like Baba Yaga, this John
like
Wick
veteran,
tattooed,
rolls up his sleeves, reveals all these like gang tattoos, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, this old
place is burning down, and
yeah, that was not great at the end.
I just want to show somebody that
it's
movie.
Not a bad twist, right? For this one,
I want to show somebody that movie. I would not watch. I would be like, here, watch this movie, and then
come back to me.
Tell me when it gets close to the end, so I could just watch the reaction with you. Because I don't want to sit through that movie again, but I would want to see somebody's reaction, just like, what?
yeah, I would too, honestly. But yeah, again, let's hope it's not that bad of a twist, and it's actually a good twist. And and I like these actors, and I like
these actors.
I like the actress who plays the mom, and I'm excited for this one. Comes out, I think, July 5th this year, and so we got a couple months to wait, and that's about it. So, but yeah, that's all the trailers we wanted to talk about this week. Now we're going to actually
move on to some news.
Some definitely some Spider-Man news.
A lot of that.
A couple of Spider-Man topics. First one being the confirmation and announcement that Nicolas Cage will reprise his role as Spider-Man Noir, or maybe not. He's been at least cast in the show called Spider-Man Noir.
Yes.
Now
there's no. Sorry, go on.
Sure.
Go on.
So the reason I say that is there was a point where like a synopsis came out about the show, or like a detail about what the plot was gonna be, and it was confirmed that it wasn't going to follow Peter Parker in this story. Which, like, to me, if you're getting Nicolas Cage, I think you've rerouted what that plan was and are now focusing on Peter Parker. But if that's not the case, and you've still cast Nicolas Cage, I think you're just going to confuse like the entire world, and including myself, because I have no idea what this show is supposed to be. But I'm hoping it's a spinoff of what we got in Spider-Verse. That's, I think, what we're all hoping for.
I think even if it's not the same character from those animated movies, and we're just like, this is the character, but
that it's based on. Like, I would be okay with that, right? And it's still like Peter. He was Peter Parker, right?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But I think, first of all, are we saying there's skepticism if he will be playing the character,
the same Spider-Man? Character, right? Like it might not focus on Spider-Man at all,
I think it is, because it says in Variety, Cage previously played Spider-Man Noir in the Academy Award-winning animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This will be the first time the character has been portrayed in a live-action project. And it says, quote, Noir will tell the story of an aging and down on his luck private investigator, Cage, in 1930s New York, who is forced to grapple with his past life as the city's one and only superhero.
Okay, so it's just not Peter Parker who's Spider-Man. It's a different Spider-Man, which is fine.
Well, he is Spider-Man.
Right, but he's not Peter Parker,
I don't know.
Well, I guess we don't know. Just said he's Cage, right?
Nicolas Cage, yes.
Oh, I thought, my bad. I blanked. I thought you were saying like the character's name was Cage.
No. Nicolas Cage is the one and only superhero who is now a private detective in the 1930s.
It sounds like they've rerouted that storyline. It seems like this is Amazon, right? That's doing this one too.
Yeah, Amazon, and then MGM, which I don't know about this MGM Plus. I don't know if that's like a new division that they're doing.
Streaming service.
I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be like of the same quality of Amazon shows, but if it is, I don't know how you necessarily do this show. I'm very intrigued to how what the tone is going to be. But minus Rings of Power. I think,
but even with Rings of Power, you can point to positives in that and say like,
yes,
every Amazon show they've made, well, maybe not every, but like all the big ones feel like incredibly well produced and feel quality, right?
Right.
It's just the story that kind of falls flat, right?
Right. So I mean, like, Rings of Power aside, even that has its pluses.
Right.
I think like there's a lot of good goodwill on Amazon's part to like, or at least Amazon Studios to like make this probably look really great.
Absolutely.
I like the idea that it is going to be. There's no doubt in my mind that this is black and white, by the way. Like,
for sure.
I feel like it has to be black and white, which is going to be like, I think it'll be cool.
I love that.
I just don't know how. I don't know if they go serious with it or if they add a bit of like,
my theory is that
they go into it.
They go like full on detective noir genre, but they allow Nicolas Cage to be, as comedic as he was in Spider-Verse, where he, and maybe the comedic parts of that movie was just him being like a fish out of water and like kind of acting in that way. I don't honestly remember like the jokes he was making.
He was just like so serious all the time.
Right. So I do think there will be a bit of comedy. I just don't know if it will be like in your face comedy, like, the MCU has been, or like Spider-Man can be,
Right. Yeah. I mean, but so yeah, aside from like, I have no idea how they do the tone. I think I like this idea. I like Nicolas Cage. I think a 19 like this is an interesting Spider-Man story. I would be intrigued to see what 1930s Spider-Man villains would look like. I don't know if they do new villains, but
they could do new villains. Yeah,
they could do new villains, which would be fun. But and maybe it's what they should do. But one idea, if you wanted to keep it more quote unquote grounded, but like, okay, by the way, I think it can't just be super serious because it's Spider-Man.
No, it won't be.
With like a fedora and a trench coat on.
Yeah. It'll be mostly serious, but like Spider-Man being the comedic, like effect.
So, but like if you did a Kingpin or a Tombstone,
but like, what would kind of be perfect for like a black and white, maybe not themed, but a styled show would be like Mr. Negative. I think that could be very interesting to play with that black and white. I know, but like they still like to play with things like stylistically, visually. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, but don't you feel like Mr. Negative is like somebody that you would primarily want to keep for like Miles Morales? Like that's like
at this point, sure. I feel you. I do, and I think we've gotten too much of Mr. Negative recently with both Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, the video game. So I don't necessarily need him, but I think that would be like stylistically, I think it'd be the most fun to watch for this at least black and white show. But yeah, no, I think you're also right. Like keeping it grounded would really help it. Like really keep it a detective noir series, Yeah,
but like if he's going to don like the Spider-Man outfit and have a trench coat and like a 1930s hat, like there's no way that you actually can set the tone as like serious. Like it has to have a bit of like that, like almost like Fallout, like. Yeah, it's like I don't feel like it can be super. I think like make parts of it serious to like be invested and take the world seriously, but like make it, have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. Like
for sure. Yeah.
Like if we want to like say like if he gets shot, make it be like this is horrible. I've just been shot and I'm dying. And it's like gruesome, but also like, I don't know, just make it ridiculous. Like The Boys kind of does, you know?
Sure. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot of potential, even if it's not a direct spinoff. But it is interesting that they clearly have like a lot of faith in this. And then, our next topic, if you want to jump to that, is something that they clearly don't have any faith in, because they like tried to do 3 different versions of the show called Silk and
Spider Society.
Silk Spider Society, you're right. And they have now dropped it, and Sony is now shopping it to other studios. The last report that we got from the Silk series was that they were redeveloping it for a more male-centered audience.
Right. Yeah, I remember we were talking about that.
Right. So I'm sure there's a lot of people who are probably like relieved to not have that Silk version of a show come out.
And that's me.
But I don't know, like where do you, I guess I'm confused at why this was even like a spinoff to be made in the first place, right? Like I get we all want more Spider-Man stuff, but Silk has never even been a character that's like really been teased or shown in any Spider-Man like really like huge popular media. Like sure, the comics exist, but like in any of the movies or the games, like, and even in the last game, I guess I won't spoil anything, but for people who haven't played it, but there's really just been no popularization of that character Silk, and maybe that's why Amazon was struggling to like develop it for a mass audience. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't think so, because like let's look at all the things that Amazon has, that like a lot of the properties that Amazon has made shows about. You have The Boys. Nobody was talking about The Boys as like as a large conversation, because nobody was the wide majority of people didn't know about The Boys comics.
And it wasn't even very well received, those comics. So
the same thing with Invincible. Nobody was talking about Invincible until that first season came out. And even now, Fallout.
But Invincible was a popular comic. But yeah,
it was a popular comic. But like nobody, like if you and me, as much as like we are into like nerdy comic stuff, if you and me were like heard about Invincible, I didn't know what the fuck it was, and
yeah, I mean, I had like barely heard of it. I didn't know what it was at all.
And so like, and even like Fallout, which Fallout is actually huge, but like still a large amount of people don't know anything about it. But so I don't necessarily think that the lack of it being in popular media or stuff, like sure it's like I know of Silk, but it's not like a crazy big like,
right, like I've read about her, like I don't really know much.
And we were just talking about Spider-Man Noir, like if not for the Amazon, or sorry, if not for the movies, Across the Spider-Verse,
right.
nobody's talking about Spider-Man Noir. No. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think it's more of the fact that this,
but that does prove my point in a sense, where like the Spider-Man Noir is like, I think they're moving forward with it because it does have a strong base behind it. But go on, with your. I think
as I don't even think that there's a strong base behind Spider-Man Noir. I think people like the character, but people like Penny Parker. They're not moving forward with like a Penny Parker or like a Spider Gwen or well,
they are doing Spider Gwen, but yeah,
but like in an animated show, like an animated movie. But I think the main reason is there's just probably not a good story. There's probably not a great understanding of what to do with this character, especially like. Right. If the last report we had was we're going to switch gears to like go towards a more male centric audience, like it feels like they tried, from what I can tell, like they tried to make it this like show that is more like for women, or not necessarily women, but like they wanted to have this all female cast, which is not a bad thing, but it just like was, now they're like trying to like pander to like men, or like maybe it's, to me it just seems like there's a weird, they don't have the story figured out. There's not a strong idea. And if anything, like after everything that's gone on with Madam Web, and Sony is a part of developing these shows, as much as like I think Amazon's going to be like the main person to like take the creative overhaul and produce them and make them. Like this potentially is Sony trying to come up with other Spider-Man ideas, and like this one's just not it for some reason. And like if Amazon's choosing Spider-Man Noir over this one, I mean, I really don't think anybody's gonna actually pick this up, especially after 3 rewrites, public rewrites, and just the fact that like they just got killed with, you know, Morbius and Madam Web.
Yeah, they definitely need to slow down and reevaluate their entire approach to making movies and shows. Maybe not even shows, because they haven't even started doing that yet. But clearly, the first one they tried isn't working. So, Sorry, I was just gonna say, I hope they gain a clear direction at some point and start making things that we all like again. Because it's depressing watching so many things.
I guess like the idea of this, the concept of this could work, but I think it could easily not, because the log line for it is a Korean American woman bitten by the same spider that bit Peter Parker.
Yeah.
As she escapes imprisonment, searches for her missing family on her way. Like it seems like a lot of things that are going on. Like we have to have Peter Parker established,
right? And Peter Parker, I think in the comics, like saves her from that prison. So yeah, I mean, you definitely have to like have him involved quite a bit in that story.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's unlikely that this is going to happen,
right?
Or someone's going to pick this up, but we'll see. Maybe Netflix will be like, hey, we'll take the memes, you know?
Yeah. Anything with the Spider-Man type character, I feel like anybody's going to want to pick that up, but who knows? Maybe Sony's like brand is just dead at this point for Spider-Man.
I mean, we just got confirmation that Venom: The Last Dance is going to be the last Venom movie.
Yeah. Good. Oh man, but yeah, that's I think that's it for all our Spider-Man news this week. Now we should talk about the catastrophe that has been happening for Francis Ford Coppola. So
Francis Ford Coppola is getting a lot of press right now at the Cannes Film Festival, because he is showing his movie, his passion project that he's been trying to get developed for years and years and years, called
almost 50 years,
called Megalopolis. And so much so that he has sold his entire vineyard to get this to be able to self-produce and self-finance this movie.
Yeah, he put up 120 million of his own money.
And it is starring Adam Driver, and it's kind of like a sci-fi story of Adam Driver is this architect who has the ability to stop time, and I don't know very much more than that. But it's, it has been declined by several studios to get produced. That's why he's self-financing. He is currently looking for distributors at the Cannes Film Festival, hoping that after debuting it, it'll get picked up and be able to widely distribute it. Well, there's been a lot of controversy that's been coming out about it, not to mention quite divisive reviews. It's currently, it's gone up I will say
It was at like a 38% at one point, right?
the ratings at on Rotten Tomatoes were pretty low. There's like a 38, like Ian said. It's now at a 51.
Okay.
So it's half and half. And you know, it goes from like the reviews are between like I've not seen anybody say like this is a masterpiece or like this is a great movie. The best reviews that I've heard are it shouldn't have been made, but I'm glad that it was. Like it was like it's truly interesting to see like something put to screen like this.
Right.
But it's mostly it's like widely all over the place. And people are like, this is a mess. It's completely confusing, nonsensical. And to top all of that off, there are some accusations coming out that
a bunch of crew members are coming out now, right?
Some crew members are coming out that he has been, while he is self-financing this with his own money, he is spending like hours apparently just in his trailer smoking weed, just fucking off, smoking weed while people are on set
everyone's just standing around, nothing's being filmed, there's no second unit working, it's just he's sitting in his trailer, right?
Just sitting in his trailer smoking weed, which like it's your movie, I guess.
Sure,
do whatever you want.
It's your money. Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. And like, you know, I was talking to my girlfriend about it last night and she's like, well, you know, I watched this documentary about when he was making Apocalypse Now and how like controversial and crazy stuff was on set.
And there was a bunch of bad reviews that came out when that movie came out too.
You know, and I am intrigued to see this movie just because of how divisive it is. But like also, you know, he would try to kiss some of the female extras to quote get them in the mood for a nightclub scene. So with all of this coming out, I think that I did hear that IMAX is going to try to give this like a release, at least a limited release in some screens. And apparently there was also like a near mutiny on set halfway through the film's shoot.
I didn't hear about this.
But it's I think this is pretty rough. I think people who have been like big like Coppola like fanboys have been like wanting this, like been cheering this on over the past couple months because they wanted him to succeed. And I think looking at it outside, it's like if studio after studio after studio declined this and he had to finance his own, like I think there's
movies are scared to distribute it.
You want this underdog like story, but like it just looks like there was a reason why it was not being made, and
it's such a bummer because like this is like one of the probably like best stories of the year in a sense, where like you have this historically great director who has had this idea in his mind for 50 years, financed it all on his own to be this dream project. I mean, he hasn't made a movie in over a decade. It's his return to directing, and it's this divisive. Like you would really hope that this was like some genius master project, but it doesn't seem to be that way.
No.
And the trailers are like, they're still intriguing to me. And I think everything I see of the movie is intriguing, although it is confusing. Even that, you know, I'm just like, I don't really know what's going on, but it's like, it's neat. So yeah, I'm not surprised in a sense. It's definitely disappointing though.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, this could be like an amazing story, but it's in actuality, it's like, the director's kind of, you know, just fucking around and potentially being, you know, some sexual harassment and it's I don't know, like I'm just like this is bad. Like this is not good. I mean, like it's a horrible situation, and like
Also, I don't know if you've heard, but like at like the I guess presentation at cons when he showed the movie, like during the movie, there's a point where like somebody walks onto the stage and like speaks to Adam Driver's character directly, like like basically there's a real man who comes out and like him and Adam Driver have a conversation like through the screen, and so everyone's like,
wait,
how like he's asking Adam Driver questions and Adam Driver's character is answering them in the
it-
movie. And so everyone's like, how would this work in a movie theater? Like
wait, really?
yeah, that's what I've been hearing. So I think
So is somebody going to be hired at every movie theater to recite lines to this like during this part in the movie? Or is it just for or is it just like there's a part in this movie where Adam, well, it could be an added part, or is there a part, or is it like Adam Driver is just going to look at the screen and say some stuff, and we're just supposed to like imply
understand, right? That somebody's asking him questions, right?
Whoa, that's
wild.
Crazy,
right? And so, like, I think that's another, like, if that's true, like, that's another huge reason why, like, people are like, I don't, or companies are like, I don't want to distribute this. I have no idea how to like even distribute it with this kind of like crazy ass.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Idea.
If that is part of it, and like the idea is to have people hired at each movie theater, at each screening to like come in and do that, I'm not gonna lie, like
that's cool.
That's
sure,
cool,
but it's a lot of
shit.
hiring people. And like I think realistically, like in my mind, I don't know if I can visualize or explain this well for you to visualize it, but like the screen would like get smaller in a sense, and then like somebody would walk onto like the not on stage, but like onto the screen outside of like the box that's shrunken, and like start to ask him questions. That would be my thought of how to do it, and not have to hire somebody for every theater in the country. But I don't know how else you would, or just cut it, right?
Wow.
So this movie sounds insanely ambitious, crazy, a lot of scandals and
also like,
controversy. And
listen to this cast: Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, Aubrey Plaza, Lawrence Fishburne, Shia LaBeouf, Jon Voight, Dustin Hoffman, Jason Schwartzman.
It's a great cast.
Music by Grace Vanderwall. Wow, that's crazy. I haven't heard her name in a minute.
I don't know who that is.
She was on America's Got Talent, or maybe I think it was America's Got Talent, and
she won.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice.
But like, like this is giving like Chris Pine's Pool Man. Like, did you hear about that?
Yeah, but I've heard mixed things about that too. Like it could be good, but there was a lot of bad reviews. So
I heard it got eviscerated, and I saw the trailer, and I was like, "This is all over the place too."
Yeah. Chris Pine said he loves it though.
So. I know. He's like, well, and I'm glad. I'm like, if you like it, then you like it. Good. I don't care. Yeah.
But anyways, something with an amazing cast, right? Maybe gone wrong.
If this doesn't play in theaters, like I'm still in. Hopefully it'll get some sort of streaming, placement somewhere so that we can watch it. Because as much as I don't want to like, I'm not supportive of like an older man non-consensually or just being creepy to women. I am at least like I guess I'm
glad
intrigued.
He didn't kiss any of them. There's that at least.
Sure.
Right. Yeah, I don't love that he tried it, but there's that. Yeah. So hopefully like I get it. If you want to say bad things about him, sure. But like if I don't know, I guess I'm very curious to see it. And I think there's a lot of people like us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I think that's it for Megalopolis and that controversy. But next we have, and I'm blanking on the topic. Next we have the John Wick spinoff being fully confirmed that we will be following a spinoff about the character Kane that was introduced in the 4th movie. Kane played by Donnie Yen. Yeah, so this is officially been confirmed, and I think this was the spinoff that like I immediately predicted. If this is, I guess what I'm assuming it is, where the daughter of that hotel in Japan will be like tracking Kane down and trying to kill him.
Yeah.
I think that will be like the main antagonist in this movie, which I guess in that sense I'm surprised because I thought the spinoff would be following her trying to kill him, where it sounds like it's like following him where he's being hunted, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm down for it. I think Donnie Yen was maybe one of the best parts of that entire movie. So if we get to see him most of the movie, I'm down.
Yeah. This is being written by Robert Askins, who has done Netflix's The Umbrella Academy. So I'm all in because I love the Umbrella Academy.
Nice.
And I do think it's got to be with Rina Sawayama's character, who's like after him. I don't think, but like the thing is, like she would be the antagonist, I guess, but in a way, like she's a
hero in my eyes.
Yeah,
like she's who I'm rooting for, you know?
Yeah. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they go about it, because like his whole thing was to get to see his daughter, right? Like get back to like being able to like have a like get to see his daughter and keep her safe.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You probably remember more than I do.
And look, the end of John Wick 4, when they were setting that up, where he was like in a crowd of people and he was like, I think looking at his daughter or whatever, like that was, I was hyped for it.
I was hyped for it too. Yeah.
So like I think that this, I'm really excited for it. I am a little nervous about it only because like the ballerina, which is a spinoff of John Wick, is being, as has been said, that it's basically John Wick 3.5 because it takes place during that time
between 3 and 4, right?
And John Wick is in a large amount of the movie. This one, I don't think is gonna have any of him, and
which is perfect.
But I hope that there'll be an audience for it, because if you do a bunch of marketing, there's no John Wick, like, and the last time you saw these characters was John Wick 4, like I think there will be like a built-in fan base, but I wonder how much of the general public would, I think you have the built-in fan base, and then I think you show a trailer where you have Donnie Yen, like blind Donnie Yen, like sword fighting, kicking ass, and you're like, I'm in. I feel like you just have to show some really great action, and you have all of the Fast and Furious type like action, fans just being like, yeah, I'd go see this. Yeah. No, I mean,
just like John Wick.
He was like a great character. So, I mean,
and I think
I don't know. You could be right. You could be right.
I think confidently he can carry his own movie. Like, yeah, like there are some concerns that like not everyone will show up for it, but I don't know. I think it is the right way to go with the spinoff. I don't necessarily need John Wick to keep going on in this universe, and I'm happy to follow another character who's probably, he might be one of, if not the strongest side character that was introduced in all 4 movies. So,
I mean, I think that's probably also because he had so much more. He had so much more built into his character. Like he had a whole backstory, and there was already a relationship. Like there was like you understood that there was a history between like Common's character and John Wick 2 and with Keanu Reeves's character. And like you got the idea that there was a history with like not Wilson. It's not Wilson. It's whoever's the owner of the
hotel,
Winston. Like you understand there's a history with Winston. You understand there's a history with Willem Dafoe's character in the first movie. But like
you felt like there was a real friendship with these two.
There was a friendship. There was an understanding of like we understood how he got to where he is in this story.
Yeah.
Like he was a actually developed character. Same thing with Rina Sawayama's character, whereas opposed to like Halle Berry's dog mom. Like
she was cool, but it was more for the action.
It was and like you understood that she was wronged by him,
right?
But we didn't get much. She wasn't baked into the story. She wasn't there present throughout the entire thing. Unlike Donnie, who was in like 50% of the movie potentially.
It felt like it, right? Yeah. No, I totally feel that. I think, yeah, I mean, at that point, yeah, he probably is the best side character, even though, funny enough, like he's introduced in my least favorite of the movies.
It's your least favorite.
I'm sorry, Zach. I'm sorry. But look, I'm happy to keep following the John Wick universe. I'm happy there's not a John Wick 5 yet. And
there will be.
I know there will be, but I'm happy keeping it a 4, especially because I have the box set that we can just keep it a 4.
That's why I don't buy box sets until like it's been a while, you know.
Did you ever buy that one for John Wick?
No.
You're gonna wait till 5 comes out?
It's just like, I don't know. Maybe I will one day. Who knows? Because I can always just be like, well, here's the box set, and then 5 and whatever.
Right. But yeah, I hope this comes out maybe like a year after Ballerina. That'd be cool.
Right.
And I'm excited.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, our last topic is the release date for Supergirl was announced. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. It will release a year after James Gunn's Superman movie on July 26th, or actually it's June 26th, 2026, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so actually not even a full year, less than a year, because James Gunn's Superman is coming out in July of 2025. And so originally when this was like, he announced the whole like part 1 of phase 1 of his like DC slate, this was the 4th movie in that slate. It was going to be Superman, and then The Authority, and then it was going to be Batman, Brave and the Bold. And so this has jumped to right after now being James Gunn's Superman, and I think it's a good move. I think if like Superman is like I'm predicting is going to be is a huge success. I think they can capitalize off of that.
I don't think it'll be a huge success, unfortunately. Like I think it'll be a good movie, but I think
at the box office it'll perform the same as Man of Steel. That's my prediction.
What did Man of Steel make? 600 million?
I think it was like 700 million.
We'll see. I don't know.
7-8.
It's still got like, it still has the stench of the DCEU.
Right, but like think about it. Think about when we get to July 2025. Like the only thing that we've seen from the DCU in the past like 2 years would be like the Penguin show and the
Joker.
The Joker, right. So like we're really not getting like DCU crap. We're getting quality DC Elseworld stuff. And so I think there's going to be a longing for that type of a movie from DC.
I think the majority of people still will think of it as, they'll be like, where's Henry Cavill? And they'll be like, they'll just think, oh, DC just doesn't. If you, even a year from now, people will be saying like, DC just doesn't make as good as movies. It's gonna take a minute. It's gonna take a minute.
I think it will, but I don't think it'll be as long as you think it will. So yeah,
we'll see.
I think Supergirl, if Superman is successful, I think it makes sense putting it right behind Superman to kind of capitalize on that. It kind of makes me think that maybe these two stories are connected in a way, where he kind of felt like it was more important to tell the story before the others. But yeah, I don't know.
Here's the thing. He was saying that their goal is to do about 2 movies a year. Mm-hmm. And so as much as there's been a lot of talk about like this movie being written and we have Millie Alcock as Supergirl already, mm-hmm. and we're developing it. We have a release date. I don't necessarily think that we can rule out that it'll be Superman and then the next movie is Supergirl. I do think that there's still a possibility that, considering we have the engineer as like the main antagonist in Superman, who's a part of the Authority, I think we have our Authority cast probably picked out, just not announced. And I think there's a high probability that the Authority movie will, if we don't hear about casting and production and directors and stuff by the end of the summer, I think we could probably say that Supergirl is probably the next one. But I still think that there's a possibility that we could still get an Authority movie before Supergirl. So I don't know if this necessarily confirms that it'll be like Superman then Supergirl.
I just think the thing is that like this, like, we've already had like a director, a star, and a release date now for Supergirl, while we have like none of that for the Authority. And even like Batman has a director attached. So I think it's possible we get a Batman story before the Authority.
And I mean, I am there with you. Like it's not unlikely. Like it's not impossible that things are going to just switch. I didn't expect that Peacemaker was going to be able to come out so quickly. Like Peacemaker season 2, I didn't realize it was going to be able to come out so quickly, concurrently with Superman. So anything's possible. I'm just keeping that possibility because like, I don't know, like I'm open to the idea of change. Like he said it was going to be Superman Legacy. Now it's just Superman. Like I have a high suspicion that The Brave and the Bold may not still be titled The Brave and the Bold.
Sure. I could believe that.
I feel like you can't have you have The Dark Knight.
I think it will be.
But I feel like it's hard to sell a Batman movie without having the name Batman in it. Though
I think it will be a Batman like : something, right? But I do think it will stay like an older Batman mentoring like a Damian Wayne.
Yeah, I think like the story's there. I'm just saying like I'm open to,
names can change.
I think like he had his ideas set and then like through whatever time, people's schedules, like things are going to move around a bit. But either way, like it's cool that this is now set. Like we've got a release date,
I'm very excited to see Millie Alcock as Supergirl. I think that's going to be so fun. But I can't lie. I would really like to see the Authority. Like you said, I would love to see them come before, like right after Superman, and really give us something different.
Yeah, I think like he was really excited to like not show off, but like present two very different ideas of what like the DCU is supposed to be. Like that's what James was like saying early on, was like, we're going to give you a Superman, which is going to be a lot more like of the vibrancy,
the classic,
and the classic and the joy. And then we're going to give you the Authority, which is going to be much more like
the polar opposite, pretty much. Yeah.
Sort of. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think
it's still possible, but
sure. I think it'll be in his first 4 movies still. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Where in those 4 it'll settle down.
Right.
But yeah, I think those are all the details we had to discuss and all the topics we had to discuss this week on Supergirl and whatnot, right? Yeah. So this is the point in our podcast now where we discuss what we've watched in the last week. Have you've been able to watch anything?
I finally finished the last episode of Invincible season 2.
Oh, nice. I never talked about it on here, but I also watched Invincible season 2. That was a great final 4 episodes, huh? Man, that finale was intense.
It was.
Yeah. It was it's been a while since I've watched, but it was really great stuff with the who was the villain of that episode? that was like threatening the his family.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
He's got the big brain.
Yeah, but he had been like teased or like shown throughout like the past 2 seasons, and yeah, no, like really great story and really great development for Mark. I was really happy with that at the end of that season. But sorry, you that's what you watched, so you tell me your thoughts.
Well, no, I mean, I thought it was great, and I'm really excited for season 3.
Yeah, same.
Hard to, and then that was pretty much all I watched. But yeah, I thought it was really well done, and I thought it was a really great season. I don't necessarily think it went down in enjoyability. Like, I think it was like thoroughly like a great season.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know if I mean, it was a great season, and I don't think I enjoyed it a lot less than season 1, but I think I could say season 1's still my favorite of the 2.
Sure.
I'd probably say that.
I don't know. They're two different.
They're different, right?
They're different. Yeah. And this one started off like a lot more somber, and overall was like darker, but it still had a lot of fun and enjoyment.
It had a lot of good moments.
Yeah, sure. It had a lot of good moments.
But I really loved season 1's like the kind of like the overlay of that theme of like just this mystery hanging over everyone's heads of like what happened to the Guardians of the Globe and and Omni-Man, and I think that was a really great plot for that season.
Right.
But what I watched this past week, I watched the next Planet of the Apes, the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That was even better than the first, for sure. I really enjoyed that one. This one, like, you know how I was really like gassing up like Godzilla x Kong, like how like Kong had a lot of really great visual like storytelling. This was like the same stuff it was like the majority of the movie was like ape on ape interactions.
Right.
And then, like the added human community that, they were kind of butting heads with in that movie, like the characters I was pretty happy with. Like the main white guy, I don't remember his name, but he was able to take like on that kind of James Franco type role from the first movie, and I didn't think it was forced. I thought they had a good connection in that movie. Gary Oldman, I thought was a good kind of antagonist in that movie. And then it sets up a cool third movie that I haven't seen yet. And and I thought there was some like really great threads that like Matt Reeves took from the first movie and really made them like prominent plot points in this one. So Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, really, really good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't think I've watched anything else this week, to be honest. Definitely a busy week for me.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah. But I think that's all for this week's podcast, episode 59. Next week we'll hit the big 6-0. I don't know if we have anything planned for that, but
not at the moment.
Not at the moment. But we want to thank you as always for watching and listening. If you want to watch and listen to us in the future, we release on Monday mornings on Podbean, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, as well as video versions on YouTube and clips throughout the week on YouTube. If you want to follow us on our social medias, our links to our social media is in the description below. And if you want to follow, like, comment, rate, or review us or subscribe, we would greatly appreciate it.
And until next time.